Good.
Oh, good. I just want to ground us in, I'm going to share this recording just with the attendees here. Everything we share is confidential. I want folks to, as we progress, hopefully build kind of trust and with vulnerability can come real growth. So I'm just, even though we're all from, the three of us are from the same space, just honoring this space that we're in and
hmm
keeping things confidential. Yeah. How does that land for you both?
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, good.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. Um, I'm going to move just really quick to, and I won't do this every time, but I want to just show kind of let our parts know what's ahead, and sort of have a sense of how I structure this time together. Um, so just arriving now and being as present as you can in this moment. I'm going to do a little teaching. I'm going to start with each week like a concept so as to not overwhelm, but to also really dig in and deep into that. And then in terms of experiential work, this will be time for you both to do some silent reflection. And then, should the time allow, and if you're open to it, to really do some coaching and really have you come in with whatever the real life pain point is. And the beauty of this is you don't have to share too much. You can just say how you're feeling about something, and some of this will be internal, the coaching. So yeah. Um, okay, good. Just let us know when you come back. Good luck. Her husband had knee surgery, so
Ugh.
um and then, yeah, how you can apply, sort of like how you can apply this. So today, just so you can see, and I'm then gonna get off the slides. Um, we talked last week about the inner boardroom and who shows up for your own internal inner boardroom. And then now we're going to talk about leadership protectors.
Mm.
So when I say leadership protectors, there's two different kinds of protectors that we have in our system, or through an IFS lens, through an internal family systems lens. There's managers, which is kind of funny because, like, here we are as managers and supervisors and leaders, but we all have these manager parts. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. And then there's also firefighters, which are different.
Mhm.
And I'll give a quick, I wasn't going to, but I'll share a little bit about firefighters right now, because we're going to really dive into managers. But firefighters are, if you are, but all of our parts are trying to help us and protect us from different kinds of feelings that are happening underneath. And so firefighters, managers like to have control.
Mhm.
There are, and we're going to get into the types of managers that show up for different people. They can be planners and pleasers, and um, they can have a competitive spirit to them. They can be overachievers, overworkers, how you would think of someone managing a situation. And firefighters are the ones that want to put out any kind of fire that may happen when managers may loosen up from their role. Because sometimes, as we know, we can't be on all the time. So, how you can imagine a firefighter coming in is if a feeling comes up where you start to feel sad or you start to feel insecure, the feelings that are underneath. Firefighters want to help too. They just do it in a different way. And firefighters can show up in ways of, in like an addiction, like gambling, drinking, shopping, or socially acceptable. Online scrolling, uh,
Mm,
um, disassociate, different ways. Okay. And if you think about it, like when a fire is in your house or somewhere and a firefighter comes in, they blow that material all over, right? Because they want to put it all out. And as they're doing it, there's a lot of damage that's happening to everything. But their goal is to just put out whatever the fire is, and they do it in a really strong, big way. So we're going to just pause that for a moment because we're not going to get into firefighters. Firefighters, again, are trying to help, and they're trying to help from some of the discomfort that we feel. Same thing with managers. Managers are usually more socially acceptable because managers are the ones that show up in a way where we can present, not always, but a way of sort of like we've got it together. So, um, I want to explain a little bit more about managers. They are typically in the foreground, like picture frontline managers, and they're proactive protectors. They're always on, they're scanning, they're trying to make sure that nothing goes wrong before something bad happens. And their job is to prevent pain, to control the environment, and to keep the more vulnerable parts of ourselves safely locked away. Okay. And those are called exiles. And again, no need to remember that right now. We're going to get into that at another time. So a way to think about it, and I had a cartoon made up because there was nothing online that could give the image that I have in my mind about thinking about managers. But before I show it, I want to kind of explain it in the way that makes sense. Think of them as your internal chief of staff.
mhm,
They're scanning, they're planning, they're controlling, and they're pleasing and they're perfecting. And it's because at some point those strategies worked, likely when we were a lot younger. They kept us safe, they kept us loved, they kept us connected. The problem is they often don't know when to stand down. And high performers like yourself and the people in this group almost always have highly developed manager parts.
mhm,
That drive for perfectionism, the over preparation, they're they're not character flaws. They're actually what makes you successful. They're strategies that got you where you are today. They also have a cost.
mhm,
So we're not here to get rid of them at all. We're here to get to know them and also create some space for other self-led parts.
mm.
Okay, so I'm going to show you. I'm going to pause for a minute. I see you nodding.
Yeah.
I see you taking notes. Tell me, because it's just you and me, tell me how this lands. Give me what your thoughts are.
Yeah, I mean, the timing of this is like super perfect. One, like today is like a cosmic day where like the moon moves into Uranus, and so you're supposed to have like a epiphany about the way you see your true self. And I watched the coaching recording yesterday, and I had this like huge emotional reaction because I was like, "Oh my gosh, Jill, you present yourself as this like super strong solutions-based leader who is very assertive and knows the answer, but you are like a vulnerable 8-year-old behind that facade. And and so the exercise that you led the group through in the last session, I
Hmm.
literally was like crying because I was like, that's actually at the root of all of this. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's
Mm-hmm.
all just like smoke and mirrors, right? And so as you're talking about managers, I'm like, yeah, 100%. I have major control managers that
Mm-hmm.
are protecting me and pushing me to be perfectionist because it's all about how I want people to perceive me because I think my self-worth is attached to that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that no one will like me if I'm not performing at that exceptional level. That
Mm-hmm.
I won't be worth anything to
Mm-hmm.
anyone if I'm not exceptional.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So relatable and understandable. And you said something like smoke and mirrors. And I want to just say, not necessarily 100%. Yeah, that may how it feels because underneath it there's this 8-year-old who's feeling vulnerable and but both can there can be space for both
Yeah.
for this person who is knowledgeable, who is fierce, who is confident in moments and maybe not in others.
Yeah.
That is true. And there's space for the vulnerable kid who probably devised some of these things and strengthened some of these things for connection,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Totally. Totally.
And so just having space without judgment for like, okay, there's that 8-year-old. How was that for her? What was happening around her? How fucking resourceful was she that she did do this?
Right. Right. Teresa said something in the session as like a reflection, and I thought it was so profound because she was like reflecting on a situation and she's like, I should have just said thank you and realized the situation and sort of blessed it because you gave your example at the library. This lady really pissed you off, right? And you were like, okay, I'm gonna like center myself or whatever. And then I think Teresa had a reflection where she was like, something happened at work and she was like, I should have just said thank you to that situation. And I
Mm-hmm.
think I need like those are the behaviors that I need to develop
Mm-hmm.
in those spaces. Like I need
Mm-hmm.
to open up those spaces and say thank you or recognize and see like there's value in that 8-year-old or there's value in like the boss
Mm-hmm.
lady who's
Mm-hmm.
confident. Like both those two things can be true at the same time,
At the
right?
same time. Yep. Yep.
And I can hold space for both of them and I can still be likable and lovable with both of those things being true.
Right. 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 And though there's ways to do that, and we'll get there. I want to just show you um the visual here. Sorry. Okay. So so this is the visual that I created. Um
Mm,
a senior leader receives critical but helpful feedback from their supervisor. There's merit to it, but it's still hard. We're human. We're not
hmm.
just like, let's be realistic. We're not robots. We're going to have feelings. It's okay. So let's normalize that. That's what happens. That's the trigger. Then there's options, right? There's many. Here's a few of how to respond. An inner critic. I should be better than this by now. I should be better at this. Shutting down, maybe going quiet, maybe don't advocate for himself. Exhaustion, like, oh, we're back here again. I'm like, I've heard this before. This really, I'm tired. And then what is this protecting? What's this? It's protecting a deeper fear. What if I'm not good enough?
Hmm.
And so we don't have to get to the questions yet. But actually, this was the overview. Okay, wait, I went too far. So here it is. The parts at the top are the manager parts. Different, these are just some options of them. Perfectionism, people pleasing, so on.
Hmm.
They're working proactively to thwart against anything going wrong. And why are they doing that? They're protecting some past pain or fear. It could have, when I say past, it could have been 5 years ago, it could have been 30 years ago. It's really, it's just they're responding to something that felt really difficult and maybe at a time where there weren't resources or agency or whatever. And so that's like sort of the high level of it. And then these is just an example of how it shows up. Um, was that helpful, that visual? I'm a visual
Yeah,
person and I had a hard
totally.
time finding things. Um, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm a visual person too. I was an art major. Come on, Kim.
Okay. Oh, all
Yes.
right. Well, I wasn't an art major. I was not artistic, but my mom was an art teacher. So maybe yeah,
Yes,
that was
yes.
okay. So I'm gonna put something in the chat and then I'll explain if so I did it in a Word document for this reason. It would have looked fancier if it were in a PDF, but if you want to type write on it, that's an option or print it out and write on it. If you have a printer there, that's what I would suggest.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me just put this in. Okay. So I'm going to do this one first, and then I'll give you a second to print it out, and then I'll take it from there. All right. So take about 3 minutes or so and just look and notice before you do anything which of the lists there feels familiar, which ones show up for you, especially at work, in leadership moments, and just circle the ones you recognize. You don't have to claim all of them, just the ones that feel true. And take your time.
Yeah, this is a pretty good list.
Okay, do you resonate with anything?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, totally. I mean, perfectionism, like absolutely overachieving, inner critic, overfunctioning, overly judgmental. I can get super defensive, controlling self. Not necessarily others, more
Mm-hmm.
self.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, Overfunctioning, extreme planning, overworking, intellectualizing, and I would say sometimes like I go into like logic where I'm like, this doesn't make any sense to me. Like this literally just happened where I was like, why are we sending someone with like an extreme peanut allergy to convention when they can't even participate in activities? Like that's dumb.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like they can't even be in the room because they have an airborne peanut allergy. Like
Oh,
why are we
wow.
spending the resources to send someone to a place where they can't even be? Like that doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense to me. So
Yeah.
that was like absolutely like overly judgmental and intellectualizing. Like this is illogical. Like why are we doing
Mm-hmm.
this?
Mm-hmm.
But then sometimes I can get into like caretaking, especially like with my team. I get really super overly protective.
Mm-hmm.
So if someone has wronged a person on my team, I just am like, yeah, you're dead to me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Good. All right. So you're aware now.
Hmm
Before I give you this next handout, pick your top three that you want to spend some time with. And it may be good if you had a recent experience where it got triggered, so that way you have some meat on the bone around it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say perfectionism, inner critic, um, and overly judgmental. Those are my biggest ones.
Okay. All right. So just hold those and I'm going to just share. So before I put the handout in, because I want to ground us in it, you're going to go through a little bit of an exercise with yourself and with these three parts, right? Pick the three parts and think about their intention and what their fears are. So I'll share mine so that way kind of brings it to life a little bit. So I had, especially more so when I was working in nonprofit, when I was at the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation and doing fundraising, um,
Hmm.
toward the last, um, I started doing that in after Scott and I got married, so in 2009. So I have two parts that work in tandem, and it's not uncommon for our parts to kind of balance each other out. So I have an overworking part and a competitive part.
Hmm.
And in fundraising, as you know, that that could be like a recipe for really good success if you have those parts. And I don't even want to say disaster. It's just a recipe for success. Like having an overworking part and competitive. I was like, any CEO's dream. And
Yeah, totally.
it's a great combination and it almost gets reinforced. So these manager parts are like really loving being on top. When you're not on top and you're not making your numbers, that's like then that's when the shame and the other stuff underneath comes out. So these manager parts try to avoid having that happen at all costs. And the intentions were good. Well, I worked for a nonprofit. We tried to make our numbers. We were trying to find a cure for a disease, and the manager part signed up for that. Um, and they were good at it when they were good. When all the stars were in alignment, right? If I met my goals, if I met the money, and I got the work done, um, I was successful. And also there was the underlying was I was liked. I was got compliments. I got recognized. Um, I felt loved. There was this
Hmm.
connection around it. My volunteers, all of that. And so it really worked hard to prevent from losing that. It didn't want to lose that feeling and that connection. And it was trying to prevent failure, being seen as inadequate, disappointing others, letting others down. And inevitably, with the way that the economy runs, and like sometimes it's out of your control. But that didn't really matter to these parts. These parts were like, nope, but Kim's going to be different than everyone else because she doesn't want to fail. She can't fail. She kept saying she, but it was a part. It was a real strong part. And what the ultimate fear under that? So there's a fear of failing. There's a fear of letting people down, disappointing others. Underneath that fear is really even more. Am I going to be alone? Am I going to be
Hmm.
fired? Am I going to be unloved? Am I going to be homeless? Am I going to be ostracized? There's like even so that's sort of like the daisy chain to
Yeah.
look at what's underneath. And I said this during the webinar, not the last, but when I did the 1 hour webinar, when people say, "Oh, I'm an anxious person," or "I'm a controlling person," no one being is one thing. It's just that that part is really taking over the system, is
Hmm.
hijacking the system. right? And so it's feeling controlling given whatever the situation is because it feels like it has to manage that situation.
Hmm.
So does that kind of what are your thoughts on just that piece?
Yeah, I mean, it absolutely resonates. That's exactly what happens. And it's like under extreme pressure, these things get amplified, right? Like
Mhm.
I get hyper focused on perfectionism, or if I miss something, like if I mistype a word in an email, the inner critic in me is like, that wasn't a perfect email to this particular volunteer. And I'm biffed. Like at the board meeting, I literally was like, I sent a text message after it was done. I'm like, I'm sorry, I biffed that particular section. And my board president was like, what are you talking about? And I was like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I messed that up, because my inner critic was like, it wasn't a perfect meeting. And she was
Wow.
like,
Wow.
you're
Yeah. Yeah.
insane. Like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
literally are insane.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but I was overly judgmental with myself. And I can get overly judgmental with others
Hmm.
because, like, the very next day, a key volunteer sent my board president and I like three back-to-back emails that were like a laundry list of the things that we needed to do. And in our organization, there's like the fraternity president who's like the main volunteer in the
Uh-huh.
organization. Like what they say goes. It's like
Uh-huh.
and then we have our board president, and we're kind of like secondary. Like we
Uh-huh.
have to bow curtsy to
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
fraternity president. And so she sends us this email, and it's just like, you guys need to blah blah. And it's like I just get really overly judgmental because I'm like, Atlas Shrugs, like we literally just raised $1.9 million in like 6 days. We have increased year over year 15%, which is
Hmm.
kind of unheard of in the
Hmm.
fundraising space. And you're
Hmm.
like making a laundry list of all the things that like you're pointing out that we're doing wrong. Like go kick rocks. You know
Hmm.
what I mean?
Hmm. Well,
Um,
but it makes sense why you would feel that way, given what you had done and all the things. And also like, yeah, okay, so that doesn't feel good. The timing doesn't feel good. And then I would wonder, and this is not saying, oh, let's have compassion. I'm not saying that, but like curious what's coming up for less about
yeah,
you. And whoa, it sounds like she was a she. She,
it is she. Yeah,
yeah,
it's all women.
she seems nervous. She seems anxious. She's sending this laundry list. I wonder what's happening for her.
Right.
And it feels tone deaf.
Yeah. Instead, my managers go into like hyper activity, right? Like my perfectionism is like, well, what do I need to achieve for you to be satisfied? Or what do I need to do for that inner critic to be quieted? What
Uh-huh.
do I need to
Uh-huh.
accomplish to have the mutual respect of people in the organization? I had this long conversation with my colleague who is my peer on the sorority side. So we have the same role, but she's been there for 20 years, right? And she's my biggest champion. We were absolute foils. She's like a cheerleader, super positive.
Oh, I
She's a
think you told me about
woo,
her. Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah. Yeah, you
yeah, like it was in
yeah,
my journal where she
yeah,
was like, "Listen, sis, like you can
yeah.
get really
Oh, that was her?
pointed, and people,
Okay.
yeah, people don't
Uh-huh.
want to disappoint you."
Yeah,
And
yeah.
she's like, I don't want people to like not see you for like how I see you. Like
Uh-huh.
I
Yeah,
know you. I
yeah.
see you for what you can contribute. And she's like, I don't want people to get the wrong impression about you,
Hmm.
which is true, like
Yeah, yeah,
love and mutual respect.
yeah,
Like it was
yeah,
a
yeah,
real safe, honest
yeah,
conversation.
yeah.
Um, but it's like I told her, I'm like, I have a hard time in this organization because it's like it's never good enough. And like when my internal managers are already in that space, it's
Yeah,
like turning up
yeah.
the volume.
Yep.
Like,
Yep. Okay. So if I have an idea, but I'm going to give you this document now. Um,
Okay.
and if it's too much of a pain to print it out, you can just look at it and write down,
Yeah. I'll
okay,
probably just do that.
okay, versus shutting the computer off and doing all that. All
Yeah.
right, so take like 5, 7 minutes. I really want you to get in it with this exercise. Take your time.
So I would write like perfectionist, inner critic, and overly judgmental on the far left side
Yep,
because those
yep,
are the parts.
yep.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
What? What?
It's like what the its good intention is and what it fears. Like
Hmm.
I think about this all the time.
So just do it, no judgment, fill that out, and be as descriptive for yourself. So, and you only have to share what feels right. You don't have to share anything if you don't want. So, um, but if you want to, which one there, what part and its intention, or what did you notice?
Yeah, I mean, all three actually sort of work in tandem with each other, um,
Yeah.
which is kind of interesting. And I think they all have overlapping intentions that are good. So with perfection, I feel like the good intention is like striving for the best self, like maximizing opportunity, maximizing the use of abilities and talent. Um, I sort of grew up in this family with this concept of like you're called to a profession, and so like you're meant to give your gifts for a larger purpose.
Hmm.
And the failure there is like letting people and self down. Like I think again with this idea of working in the nonprofit sector, like my job is tied to outcomes that actually have an effect on other people, and I like it that way, right? Like I'm accountable to society, I'm accountable to individuals that are relying on me for direct services, right?
Hmm.
Like a cure for cancer, a cure for leukemia, a cure for
Yeah.
Crohn's
Yeah.
disease. Like I know I'm making a difference in the world,
Right.
and um I don't want to let them down. So failure is not an option,
Uh-huh.
right?
Uh-huh. Okay.
And
Yeah.
so like if I let them down, it's like I don't feel worthy to be in the role that I'm in,
Hmm.
right? Like if I let my team down as a manager, if I let the organization down, if I miss my goals, if I say the wrong thing, do the wrong thing, if I'm perceived as not successful, like that doesn't feel like it aligns with my value, worth,
And what would you
self-worth.
say? What would you say the fear is?
The
If it
fear is,
yeah,
yeah, the fear is like not being seen as good and
value like
true. Yeah,
valuable
and
or
valued.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
hmm
Yeah.
Um, and again, I think that overlaps with the inner critic too. I think the inner critic's good intention is like having self-awareness, sharpness around a situation or a self-behavior. Like I know when I'm getting off the rails. Like I know I have a good understanding and maturity around myself, around like my pros and cons. I think it can just be hyper activated and like I think what I appreciated about my colleagues' conversation with me is it was so kind and
Mhm.
loving. And I told her that I gave her that feedback like you are the dream for an Enneagram 1 in terms of like
Mhm.
offering this feedback because you're doing it from such a loving place. If
Mhm.
this had been sharper, I would have been so much more
Mhm.
defensive
Sure. Yeah.
and accepted this in such a different way.
Yeah.
Because it didn't make me feel not worthy.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
It
And it
didn't
sounds
make
like
me feel like,
she saw you, she saw that the intention behind it is good, is
yeah,
and
yeah,
as we talk about these parts, their intentions are
yeah,
good.
yeah,
They're not
yeah.
they're not
She
there's no malintent by what you're doing.
and she held both things in tension with each other, like your behavior is affecting other people, but
Hmm.
you are worthy and loved and good enough and successful at the same time.
Yeah.
Like she reinforced both of those things at the
Uh-huh.
same time, right?
Yeah.
So it couldn't be a zero sum game, which is what tends to happen in inner critic. It's either this or
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. Well, it's like polarized. It's like one or the other. There's no gray, right?
Right,
I
right,
actually think what's coming to my mind is that email you got from that one board president. And
yeah,
if you had someone like your colleague in relation
right,
to her to be able to say, um, because there likely was no malintent in
yeah,
that email.
right,
That email likely came from a place of concern, anxiety, pressure on herself, and like vomited all over you guys. And maybe the feedback, from a compassionate place is like so important. These pieces are so important, and yet let the timing not the best. And my guess is you didn't have malintent around this. This was coming from a place of her own parts and anxiety, right?
totally. And she just has like zero self-awareness. Like when
Mhm.
I landed yesterday, like my board president had left me a voice message and it was just like, I'm exhausted by these emails. This volunteer's name is Elizabeth, by Liz from Elizabeth. She's like, I have a job. I have other volunteer things that I'm working on. Like, I cannot be answering her 32-page dissertation emails about like what we should be doing. And
Mhm.
she's like, I'm exhausted, you know? And I'm like, me too,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I think the one good thing is that my volunteer partner and I are aligned on the approach, and we actually work with a coach between like the
Mhm.
leadership. So the two volunteer leaders and then myself and Carrie, who's my
Uh-huh.
colleague on the sorority side, we all have the same coach. And it's helpful because she knows all the dynamics between the
Yeah.
four of us
Yeah. Yeah.
and then can kind of coach the situation. And she knows that Elizabeth's challenge is this. Like
Yeah.
she
Hmm.
can't help herself. She has no discipline. And the rest
Uh-huh.
of us also know that she has no discipline. And so there's
Yeah.
also like this like forgiveness of she can't help herself.
Right.
So
Right.
I
Right.
don't even reply to her emails
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
I'm like, you
Yeah.
can word vomit all over my inbox. I'm
Yeah.
not responding to this because it's not even worth
Yeah.
my time. So my trigger is a lot lower than it was when I first started, where I
Uh-huh.
was like, oh, let
Yeah.
me like get right
Yeah.
back to
Yeah.
you, and now I'm
Yeah.
like, meh, like
Yeah.
this doesn't deserve my time or even
Yeah.
a response.
Yeah.
And then the overly judgmental, like that was a little harder to come up with the good intention. So I sort of started to couch it as like maybe it's just coming from a place of like critical thinking and the ability to be objective and subjective, like the ability to clearly judge right from wrong. And then I started to go down this path of like, I have a very strong sense of justice.
Yeah.
Um, and I think we're living in a world where that is like absolutely
Yeah.
gone. And that is really hard for me. Um, to wake up every day and read something that
Yeah.
is happening and
Yeah.
there's no
Well, there's no moral
consequences.
compass. But getting back to the judgment, I'm curious, I wonder, because and this is just me thinking when you were sharing this woman who sent the email,
Yeah,
when you think about the judgment piece and just what you said, moral compass, but also like protection, like
yeah,
is it like, no, I'm going to preemptively or judge you because I don't want you taking away my agency if you're not educated in it.
Mm,
Or I don't want you controlling me because you're not as informed as you should be. Whatever the case may be, the judgy part, all of our judgy parts are trying to protect us in some ways, even in the way the inner critic wants us to do better. The judgy
yeah.
part is either if we're judging someone else, it's because we may not feel like we have agency or control. And in this case, you've got a
Yeah.
board president, right? And so I'm gonna make my judgy part and I are gonna make me feel a lot better so we can like talk smack and gossip about you
Yeah. A
because
hundred
I
percent.
feel I feel like I'm one rung down and you could get away with it.
Yeah, totally. I
So
mean,
there's
that's a
a lot of
hundred
good there's
percent.
it may not be socially acceptable good intention, but the good it's on your side. It's that
Yeah.
judgy part's on your side.
Yeah, that's 100% what it is. Like, and I know that I also have like outsized expectations for people's behavior. So like at work, like we have a huge convention coming up. It's like one of the largest events that we do every 2 years. And the person who is in charge of it is on vacation right now until June 1st. And I'm like, you just finished telling everyone like the house is on fire and you're super busy and then you're on vacation. Like, go fuck yourself. Like, I don't feel bad for you. Like, this is not the time to go on vacation. And so,
And I
like, that's
wonder
me
if
being overly
but I
judgmental.
wonder if that, well, yeah, maybe, but I also wonder there's validity if this person came from a place of vulnerability and said, "You guys, I'm freaking out. I planned
No.
this vacation. I'm just saying, would it have shifted for you? I'm
Yeah.
plan I'm planning that I planned this vacation months in advance. Timing sucks. Can I ask for you to help circle the wagons? I'll pay you back in millionfold in the future if you could just help me out with this thing."
Yeah, if she had approached it that way, 100%, I think people would be rallying behind her. But like, this is her only job in the
Yeah.
organization, and she has a false sense of urgency. She's super disorganized, and she's been doing this role for like 17 years. And I'm sort of like, why is everything a five-alarm fire when you've been doing this for so
Right.
long?
And
Like,
so the judgment there again is from someone trying to take where you feel like you might not have agency or you feel like someone's trying to hijack your time because of
hmm.
your, you know, poor planning. Uh,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, their poor planning is making my work
And
harder.
and so we won't do it now, but we could get to a place where you could sort of figure out how to finesse that in a way that feels
Yeah.
composed. Okay, um, so looking at the three managers you mapped, um, it's clear like you have some examples of where this shows up for you at work and in leadership, right?
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
Okay. Um, I'm curious, is there any one of these do you want to explore a little bit more?
Um,
Or anything that's fresh that feels,
Maybe the perfectionist one. Um, because like I'm feeling like it's just not good enough. Like I'm not even feeling satisfied with my own performance, even though I know it's really good.
hmm,
And I don't know where that's coming from. Like,
yeah. What's, how does it show up for you? Like when you say about it now, like you're saying that's what you're feeling right now, like meaning maybe not this moment, but at work.
so I think some of it is the way that I am perceived by others in the organization as not equal to my peer. And some of that is just like the longevity that Carrie has in the organization and my newness in the organization. She's been there for 20 years. This is my second year, basically.
Yeah.
And so people default to her as the leader of the organization, and this shows up in small and large ways. Like we had an outside presenter come in, and she referred to Carrie as like the CEO of Kappa, and I was like, false. Like she's not
Hmm.
the CEO of Kappa. And no one corrected her, and I was like, I told Carrie, I was like, this is so petty, but like that bothered
Uh-huh.
me
Uh-huh.
because I feel like it reinforces the fact that there isn't parity in this organization. The foundation, it has $68 million of assets, and we are always othered. We are overlooked. Our volunteers are overlooked. We are a critical component of this organization, and we are othered all the time. We're
Okay, wait.
left off
So
of things,
so
and
your area that you cover has 68 million or hers does?
we do.
And what does she have?
Their budget is on an annual basis. I don't even know. It's less than. It's like an in and out. They have a portfolio of assets, but it's considerably less
Okay.
because
All
it's
right.
more like functional, like in out. It's a
All right.
business,
It
right?
actually,
It's a
yeah.
C7.
All right. That's fine. It doesn't matter if hers was more or less, it's how you feel. So,
Yeah.
okay. So, do you want to use that as we'll do like 10, 15 minutes of coaching on that?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna set my timer. Um, and this is let me just use my watch. Okay. All right. So it's the perfectionist.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think it's like it's hyper triggered in those situations where I feel like we are othered and my performance doesn't matter. It's
Okay.
not creating parity.
Go to bring up the film in your mind of when the presenter said the CEO of like
Yeah.
okay, just
Yeah.
bring that up.
Yep. Yep.
Notice how that feels wherever you're feeling it.
Yeah. 100%. I know exactly where I feel it.
Where do you feel it?
It's like definitely in my chest. It gets tight and I feel it kind of in like the pit of my stomach. Um, and
Okay.
it's just like this like let down. Like it
Okay.
just feels heavy. Like I just feel like, ugh, what do
All
I
right.
have to do to
Wait, not good.
feel
Okay.
equal?
All right. So don't even go there yet. Just notice, and you can keep your eyes open or closed, whatever, or avert them, whatever feels comfortable for you to just be able to notice where, when this presenter said that, Carrie's the CEO, where you notice where it feels most pronounced, whether it's in your chest or your stomach or your shoulders, just the sensation of it. And just draw your attention to it as you imagine and notice the words that she used and then how it felt for you. And just like as you draw some awareness to how it felt for you physically, like whatever sensation you noticed, see if there's anything else there that you're feeling or noticing around that situation.
Hmm. Yeah, I feel hurt.
Yeah. So just notice that and see if that makes sense for you, given all you do and everything. That just kind of tracks that there's
Hmm.
some hurt, maybe some disappointment.
Yep.
feeling not seen.
Yep.
And just let this, see if you can connect with this part and just see if it's aware that you're just making some space for it, that you're drawing your attention to it. Like it's there, it feels this on your behalf. Just check in and see what it's worried about, what its fears might be for you. And just notice that, whatever it is that it might be worried about, and how it makes meaning of these words that this facilitator said.
Hmm.
What are you aware of as you notice this?
Um, just all the fears that I have with like the perfectionist tendencies. Like why I have them. Like I don't want to let anybody down or be seen as a failure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or not be seen as like good or not be liked.
Mm-hmm. It's less about like, I understand you want to know why, um, and yet they're there and they've served you these perfectionist tendencies, and they still will. It's not as though maybe they can loosen up a little on the gas,
Right. Totally.
but we don't want them to go away completely.
Right.
They help you to be really, really good at what you do and successful. And yet they may not need to be going at it at such a pace. And it's
Right.
like,
Incredible Hulk. Yeah.
right, the Incredible Hulk, or like just on steroids. Like it just can like ease up a little, but my sense is it feels really important to this. It feels really not dire, but just feels really like there's it. And I would ask it, like, what's the fear if it lets up just a little? And maybe it's just able to, like right now, like what would it feel like in this space? And we'll have it go right back to like putting the pedal to the metal, but what would it be like just in this space to take a little bit of a break and rest? I'm sure it's exhausted.
Yeah. I should be able to do that. Like
Not
everyone
not
tells me to do
not,
that.
not you. You're here. You're in self. You're this part of you. And we're gonna have it come right back because I think doesn't trust. It doesn't trust that you can.
Yeah.
It feels like it needs to be really
Yeah.
intense. It doesn't trust yet.
Totally.
So I would say just check in with that part, the
Mm-hmm.
perfectionist part, and just see if you can for a moment, see if it sees you, Jill, grown woman, 2 kids, just any milestones that let this part know, separate from your job or maybe within your job, just all of who you are, how you navigate with your kids, your peers, your family, your mom, your brother, See if this perfectionist part can really just sit for a moment and see you. How does it feel toward seeing you as this adult professional?
Like I can do this. Like I don't, I am competent and skilled and good without it being hyper active.
Mm-hmm. Just notice how you feel, like in your chest, like where you started, what's there, how it feels. Is there any, is it more? Is it less? Is it what just,
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot less when you can decouple those two things, right? Where it's not taking over me. I sort of like, again, think of it as like inside out. It's just like one of those pieces
Mhm.
at the controller. But I think um it's like it's Riley's anxiety as a teenager. Like for me right now as an adult, like it's the one at the controller that's going
Mhm.
crazy.
Yeah,
And when I just told it to pause and stop, it just sat down on like a couch and was like, "Oh yeah, like right, you are super competent and you don't
right.
need me to be hyperactive because you're good."
Well, you told it to, you asked it to pause. We didn't ask it to go away. We just asked it to take a break. And if it wants to check in with it, it can come back in, or it can continue to stay on the couch and watch you until it's ready to come back. We're not asking it to go away. But what you also did is my guess is this part is a very young part.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes these parts are looking out and they haven't turned around to see that we've grown up.
Yeah,
Sometimes
totally.
it's good to do some milestone tracking, and sometimes that's not enough. But it was enough to see there was a slight unblending, a slight shift where you looked up, you were brighter, and you said, "I can do this."
Yeah.
And so it was allowing for this space to sort of see.
Yeah, because I think that piece, that part of me still sees me as like a young, unaccomplished person
Mhm.
who isn't who I am today, right? So it's trying to overcompensate for these things, even though I am the person I am
Mhm.
today, right? So
Yeah,
to your point, like it's just at the controller, like going crazy, but it should just be paused to sort
yeah.
of look around and be like, oh, Jill is 51 years old. Like
Mhm.
she has raised two young adult kids who are in college. One is going to graduate with honors next year. Like they're good kids, they're successful, they're gonna be just fine. Like she has a good relationship with her spouse, like she has a good relationship with her family, she's successful at work, like she's not this person that you perceive her to
Right.
be.
And the other and is not right now, but like, and when you do, because you're human, mess up, and when
Mm-hmm.
you are presented with triggers, um, the more we work with these parts, the less they're going to they may initially go into, because it's muscle memory, boom,
Yeah.
what they know. But you now have the tools, or you're going to have more of the tools to say, oh, I want to bring you back a little.
Yeah, totally.
Because
Yeah, just
it does,
that
yeah.
exercise to like stop and be like, okay, this isn't who I am.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
am not a perfectionist. Like, that's not who I am. And in fact, this same facilitator, I think I told you this, Kim, in our call before this started, is like she had us do this exercise, like find a photo in your photo queue in your phone of like a photo that encompasses who you are as a person. And I was like, I don't know. I can't find a photo.
Mm-hmm.
I literally struggled with that exercise because I was like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
But that's
And
okay.
people were like easily like putting up photos of like them and their kids
But
and like them at blah 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 blah. And I was like, I don't know
so
who I
what?
am. I'm you know what I
No,
mean?
but that's a lot also to ask of someone to find a photo of who they are when we're so multidimensional. I could
Yeah.
say, show me a hobby, show me something you like, show me that's something that sparks joy. But who I am as a person, we're so many different parts and things.
Yeah. It just felt like an existential crisis. Like I don't know if it's just because of like my age and where I'm at, but I literally was like, oh my God, well, I'm so many things, but I'm not just one thing.
Right. And I say bravo to you. Like, yeah. Like it and bravo to the others who are able to find it. But it's
Yeah.
okay, but there's no right or again, there's no right or wrong to this. You have choice. I always love when people are like, this doesn't speak to me.
Hmm.
I don't have one of me, but I love to see what everyone else has, and I can enjoy that
Yeah.
versus what's wrong with me.
Yeah, because like again, I think that's where my head went after the exercise. It was like, well, there must be something wrong with me because I can't find a photo that describes like who
Right.
I
It's
am.
saying that this person of all the billions of people in the world knows the right avenue for me to find out who I am through my photos. That's what you're
Yeah.
saying. That this
Yeah.
person knows more about me than I know about me.
Yeah.
So how was that for you? Just doing that quick exercise.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was like super, super helpful because it allowed me the space to recognize that perfectionist tendency and uncouple it from who I am and recognize that it's like the Incredible Hulk in my head.
Mm-hmm.
And just be like, hey, sis, have a seat. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you don't need to be on fire all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Jill's good.
Good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry, Orna, you're probably like, what are they
I
doing?
know, I know.
I know, I have FOMO.
So Orna, I'm gonna put in, and for Jill, you think you have them, but I'm just gonna do it again. They're already dropped into the Coaching Genie, and so these are just two handouts. So I would say, because I did a little bit of teaching, and I'm gonna edit down the session. But I would say watch it because there's some teaching around manager parts, and you've shared in your lovingly so I love it in your journals or in your activity what's coming up at work. This is tying into that. Okay, so this is so I would say just watch the video and then do some of these little handouts. It's not anything additional in terms of, I don't want you to look at it, hopefully it's not like homework. It's more like this is going to give me more insight and strategies for when I get triggered. And you will, because we are human. This is not about avoiding those triggers. It's about having them and being able to recover from them a little quicker, or when they hit, maybe they don't hit as hard. Um, so just yeah. Does that make sense? Yeah. Are you okay, Lorna? How you doing?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I'm good. And the recording from this session will also go in
Yeah,
with
with
the
this session. Yeah, yeah, no, this,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I'm going to, it
Edit
takes a little
it and
bit, but I'm going
record
to
it.
edit it
Yeah,
and then do that. So
perfect.
for this week, I have a low lift practice. I just want you to, if you get activated, if you feel triggered, if work or personal, see if you can name the manager. See if you can name the manager that shows up and just name it, right? There's my perfectionist. There's my pleaser. You don't have to do anything. Just notice it and name it. And the key phrase is this part's just trying to protect me. Not why is it here? Any of those things. It's just trying to protect me. And I want to show just one visual that I didn't get to show that is my favorite of the visuals that I narrated into Claude, and Claude did this video, this visual, and I love it. All right, let me find it. Okay, here we go. All right. So these are the roles of managers, right? So if you could see like perfectionist, please, different managers. And this is what's underneath that they're trying to protect, right?
Mhm.
This is just an example. There's many things it could be trying to protect, but I'm not enough. The pleaser doesn't want to get rejected. Someone who's controlling is ashamed, doesn't want to be ashamed, doesn't want to be embarrassed. The worrier is afraid. So again, if we can just identify what manager shows up, even if it's the inner critic is fearing failure, probably. It's just that these over-functioning parts are trying to protect some feelings that are often feelings that were truly unbearable for us, as mostly as kids, that there wasn't a container, that there wasn't a space to really process these. So we overfunctioned and we were resourceful and resilient. And then these managers came out and they kind of lead the show. How does that land? What does it make sense or no? Disagree, agree?
I think about the Lego movie with like the very first one where it's like the micromanagers. And I'm like, yes, like those micromanagers are everywhere, except it's these managers, which are, for me, I have three of them, but
Well,
yes,
what I look
top
to do
three.
sometimes, the more you get into this, right? I also like to be a when I'm in meetings and stuff, mind for other people's parts because you know what it does for me? It helps me to feel less defensive.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's that person's micromanaging part coming out. Uh-huh. You know? Because oftentimes I would just be like, "Oh, they're mad at me. Oh, what are they doing to me?" Like that's survival. And I do that at times, but now I'm much more like, "Oh, my husband's really getting annoyed about that." Instead of owning it, I'm like able to sort of be like, huh, some part's getting triggered in him.
Mm.
You know?
I'm sure he
And
loves when you say that
I
too.
don't say that to him, but I think it.
I'm sure Scott loves being married to a
Yeah.
therapist.
Um,
I
all
did
right.
use it with my
Yeah.
son last or like earlier a few days ago when he was
Yeah.
having a
Uh-huh.
lot of anger and I was talking to him about and he then felt very bad about it and how that's just a part of him. I was using all sorts
Uh-huh.
of lingo
Yeah.
that I was like,
Yeah.
wow, this is great.
Yeah. 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 I use it with my son too.
And that it's trying to protect him, but that he,
Uh-huh.
yeah, doesn't need it to.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's going
Good.
to come in handy in multiple ways.
It totally, totally. Yeah, there's actually is it here? Show you really quickly. This is a really good book that was read to us and one of a training I did and I got it for myself, but it's the Rabbit Listened. and it's a New York Times bestseller, but it's like a kid's book, um, who's like just valid, like it's about like kind of like your parts are validated. So yeah,
Hmm.
there's stuff that's starting to come out. But I asked my son if I could read it to him, and he was like, "Is that a therapy book? No way." So
Ethan's like, no, mom.
yeah, yeah. Alrighty. So I'll send you an email once everything is posted, and we'll meet again next week. Have a great weekend, long weekend.
Yeah, awesome. Enjoy the long weekend, everybody.
Yeah.
Thank
Enjoy.
you,
All
Kim.
right, take care. Bye.
Bye.